welcome to numerologist.com. I'm Rose, and today I'm here with the lovely, talented Kelli Fox from astrology.tv. Thanks for being here, Kelli.
Hi, Rose. Thanks for having me on.
So today we are going to be talking about the Cancer new moon and solar eclipse, and I'm very excited to get your thoughts on this, Kelli, because you've been an astrologer for, how long have you been working in astrology now?
Oh, geez, decades.
Yeah. And Kelli actually has a free personalized astrology video report that you can check out at video.astrology.tv. And you can head over there and get that report. So watch this video and then head over there. So firstly, Kelli, I just wanted to talk about Cancer new moons in general. So what do they mean?
So a new moon is the start of a brand new lunar cycle. So it's the very beginning, the very start. It's where we sort of plant the seed, and it happens every 28 days. So every month we have a new moon in astrology, and each month it's in a different sign. And so this month it happens to be in Cancer, but it's also an eclipse. So an eclipse is a solar eclipse is a supercharged new moon. So what that means is that it intensifies everything. And because it's going to be in Cancer, it means that it's all about home, family, and emotions. But Cancer is a cardinal sign. And the cardinal signs, the others being Aries, Libra, and Capricorn, are the initiators of the zodiac. So that tells us that it's all about new beginnings, but big new beginnings, because the other thing about this solar eclipse, which I just can't stop talking about, is it's together with the solstice. And the solstice in astrology is, along with the equinox, marks the turning of the season or the change of the season. And so that also represents big new beginnings. So we've got the two biggest events in astrology on the same day. It's mind-blowing. As an astrologer,
is that rare?
It's incredible. Yes,
yeah.
It's really rare, and it's just amazing. So we've got the solar eclipse in Cancer, which is a supercharged new moon, and the solstice on the same day. And that's the 20th or 21st of June, depending on where you are in the world. So we've got these two big events in a cardinal sign happening on the same day. So it affects all of us because these sort of events, the solstice and the eclipses, affect all of us on different levels in varying degrees, but definitely affecting all of us for new beginnings. And there's a lot of other stuff going around these eclipses, this eclipse and the solstice as well. So there's a lot of stuff happening this month. Embrace the new. So it's like moving in a new direction. And it's something, when I say embrace, we're not willingly making these changes. They're sort of being forced upon us. So with this solar eclipse in Cancer, it's very much about our emotions, because at the same time, Mercury is retrograde, and Mercury is retrograde in Cancer. So there's a lot of energy that's shifting from Gemini to Cancer. So it's more about leaving our intellectual thoughts and sort of more taking on our emotions, because Cancer being a water sign, the other water signs are Scorpio and Pisces. It's all about our emotions, and it's communicating our emotions or communicating our feelings, not just being cerebral up in our head, but really sort of feeling our feelings. And for those of us who are sometimes disconnected or disassociated, or, facts and figures first over how we feel, this is, a lot of us will be forced into, acknowledging and prioritizing our feelings and emotions. Facts and figures, yes, because Mercury retrograde is upon us. I mean, it's coming about next Wednesday, the 17th, but it's like, that along with the eclipses and, the solstice. And of course, there's other planetary stuff I'm going to just quickly mention as well. But, what's happening with these eclipses is we've got Mars, the warrior planet, moving into its favorite sign, one of its favorite signs of Aries, but it's an extra long cycle because it's going to be in Aries for 6 months instead of 6 weeks. Now, this is really big news because of the retrograde. And then we've got Neptune turning retrograde around this eclipse solstice period as well. So there could be a little bit of confusion, not just because of the Mercury retrograde in the same sign as the solar eclipse, but also Neptune will be retrograde as well. There's a lot of shifts and changes that are supporting the solstice and the solar eclipse at the same time. So what we can do to really embrace these giant astrological energies that we're dealing with is to feel our feelings. And I know that sounds really basic, but it's like on some level, we're so up in our heads a lot of the time. We're so analyzing the facts and figures. We're forgetting to feel our feelings, you know, and we've been through such challenging times this year, and it's only halfway through the year. So it's
Absolutely.
like, it's so challenging. It's okay to have those feelings. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel happy. It's okay. Whatever it is that's coming up for us at this time, we're sort of enforced to embrace in some ways and get ready to step into new directions.
Kelli, I just want to ask you a question there. You're talking about sort of feeling your feelings, and that sort of, you know, a lot of people can do that, and some people find that more challenging. Are there certain types of people that are going to have a harder time doing this?
Yes, there will be. And it's more the cerebral types of people, you know, it's more out in the world, you know, it's about facts and figures first and, you know, looking at the bottom line and things like that. I mean, we all have to eat and pay the bills, but it's like, it's okay to feel our feelings right now. It's okay to, you know, the world with what's going on, our world is changing, it's evolving, but not in a way that we had thought. You know, we're dealing with really very intense challenges that cut so deeply, that haven't been addressed for so many centuries. And it's like now we're dealing with it, one thing on top of another this year. So this is a turning point in our history. It's a complete turning point, and it's okay to have those feelings. And that's what this eclipse, this solar eclipse in Cancer will bring out, the new moon in Cancer, new feelings, new beginnings for new feelings and new emotions.
So if you had sort of one tip to sort of give to people about this new moon, well, actually, let's go backwards first. Let's talk about, is there any specific planetary alignments? You've talked about Mars. Is there anything else that we need to be aware of for this specific new moon?
Yes. It's what I say. Meaning how much time do you have on your hands, Rose?
Oh, well, let's just go for it. I'm sure people are very interested to learn.
And I'm pulling up my, I've got to show you. This is my ephemeris. And I know it's sort of blocking out there.
In your library.
I know. Can you see this ephemeris? Yes. That's my ephemeris. That's the astrologer's book. That's what I use to trace the planets in their movement around the sun, and that's where I know. That's where I know what I know based off that. Do you have
one of those for each year? Do you have to get a new one each year?
This one, you can see the cover's ripped off. Oh, the cover's ripped off this. This is a 50-year one. That I have. My other one is a 100-year one.
Wow.
So I've got so many of them all over my desk and whatever. And the other thing that I use, hopefully you can see this one. Oh, no, you can't see it. It's not showing very well. Anyway.
It disappears you in your library.
The library sucked up my calendar. But I use a calendar, you know, just like a monthly calendar, but it has like all the astrological occurrences for each month on this calendar. And so I'm using my calendar. That's why I keep looking down, because you opened up the can of worms there. What's happening this month as well? And so, you know, what we've got going on, you know, last week we had the lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. And so, you know, June is eclipse month. And so June being eclipse month, we have eclipse season. We have usually two eclipse seasons per year, and eclipses happen in pairs or threes. So this season it's threes, which means eclipse season is longer than what it usually is in pairs, which means more intensity that's going on for longer. So it's like, you know, the first eclipse was the lunar eclipse in Sagittarius of last week. That's all about freedom seeking. And, you know, a lunar eclipse is a supercharged full moon, and it shines a light into the darkness. So things that have been hidden or not addressed suddenly come to the surface and are suddenly, you know, the forefront. And so, you know, that started the month off. And then, you know, we move into a Mercury retrograde, which happens on the 17th of June. And Mercury retrogrades mean miscommunications or misunderstandings. Now, there's usually about 3 a year, and they happen for about 3 weeks each time. And so things go backwards. This time it's in Cancer. And that's why I mentioned it with that solar eclipse, because that's also in Cancer. So a supercharged time for the cardinal signs, Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, because of the retrograde and because of that solar eclipse with the solstice. Now, we also have some good news. There's all good news thrown in as well. It's not all doom and gloom. It's just, it is what it is. But eclipse season really for everyone is just supercharged. And then we've got Neptune turning retrograde. That's on the 22nd. And so if you're a water sign, and that's Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, you know, Neptune turning retrograde is all about, don't just take anything at face value. You know, like, it's okay to be the super intuitive that you are as a water sign or have water planets, but it's important that you don't just sort of like willy-nilly something, and don't dive into something, because Mars is moving into Aries. We all want to sort of take charge and run full steam ahead without sort of thinking things through. It's going to be really important to sort of slow things down a bit and really be mindful about the decisions that we're making during this time period. The good news is we've got love planet Venus. Venus rules love and money. It's been retrograde since mid-May. It's turning direct on June 24th, 25th, depending on where you are in the world. So love and money can move forward. This is great news for Gemini, because, you know, Venus is currently in Gemini, and it's a very social energy. It's a very like a networking, you know, we want to reach out and connect with other people. Mars moves into Aries on June 27th, which I talked about. And oh, and here's the other thing. This is the diamond in the rough. So this is Jupiter conjunct Pluto. Now, I don't usually talk about the aspects because they're typically secondary to, you know, the full moons, the new moons, the eclipses, solstice, planet changing sign, retrogrades. But you know, the significance of this Jupiter conjunct Pluto, Jupiter is a planet of luck and good fortune, and it comes together with Pluto, which is a planet of change. And so when you put those things together, there is a shifting of the tides. There is a changing of the tides. Now, this aspect happens 3 times in 2020, April 4th, June 29th, and then November 12th. And so normally, without everything else going on this year, it means big money or fortunes are made under this type of aspect. So the second one of 2020 is occurring on June 29th. This is fantastic news if you are an earth sign, and that's Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, or you have any planets in the earth signs. It's very, very fortuitous. So that's all. All these influences are surrounding the solar eclipse new moon in Cancer on June 20th, 21st.
Wow. And I was going to ask you if you had any, like one tip to give to people, but I think there's such a lot in there that it might be difficult for you to do that. Maybe let's look at it a different way. If you could sum up the theme of this new moon, what would you say?
Change.
Yeah.
New beginnings.
And that's excellent. We're just about to come to sort of the midpoint of the year, so it's sort of all about turning it all around and making 2020 the best that it can be.
Absolutely. Yep. Yes, we're ready to move into a new era, is really what it represents, with so many giant astrological events happening, not just 2020, but even just in June. Yeah, we're ready to move into something brand new. Yes.
Absolutely, that's pretty exciting. Now, anybody watching this on YouTube, we actually at Numerologist have something that can help you move forward with this change. And this wasn't planned at all, Kelly, by the way. It just so happens that this new moon is all about change. So you can go to the link in the description, sign up to our newsletter if you haven't already, because you'll get some announcements coming in your inbox soon about how we can help you navigate this change. And also remember to go to video.astrology.tv so you can get your free personalized astrology report. Next, we'll be talking about the Capricorn full moon, so make sure you check in for that one.